Hey folks, Ty here. In this video, we're going to be talking about dropshipping versus drop servicing. Now, the focus is going to be on drop servicing because all of my videos, literally all of them, are on e-commerce, dropshipping, and things like that. So I'm going to approach it from a different angle this time, looking at drop servicing. So in this video, you'll learn the definition of both, the pros and cons, and the plan on how to get started with drop servicing and what things to consider. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get straight into it. So the first one is drop shipping. You can start drop shipping in one day with zero money. In fact, loads of YouTubers do, just for fun, just for challenge videos. However, it is also a disadvantage because the entry requirements are so low. It also means there's a lot of competition, and you'll hear the word saturation being thrown about all over the place. To get started with drop shipping, I would recommend watching my drop shipping playlist. But you basically want to get started with Shopify and find a manufacturer. That might be AliExpress, that might be an agent, that might be a direct manufacturer. If you're already ahead of the game, then that's perfect. What you want to do is then think of your platform. You might pick TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest, Etsy. There's so many options. Me personally, I specialize on Shopify and Etsy. You can check out my Etsy playlist up here, somewhere in one of these corners. Or you can just watch my generic dropshipping playlist that I go through, which will basically go through on how to set up the store, the pros and cons of setting it up, and Etsy versus Shopify. If you're struggling to decide which one, why not watch that video? That will definitely help you to decide. Once you go from there, you pick your product, you list it, and then it's all down to marketing or search engine optimization. You'll hear that come up a lot in my videos. It is the key to drive organic traffic and to inspire growth in your business. With dropshipping being harder and harder to get into, people are looking towards drop servicing as the answer. Now, with drop servicing, the basic skills you need are basic marketing skills, basic communication skills, and basic sales skills. That is literally it, and these are all things that you can learn pretty quickly if you don't have them already. Having familiarity in the niche that you're going to sell in is also a good advantage. For example, if you're going to do marketing for restaurants, and if you've worked in the restaurant niche before, in the restaurant and food industry, then that's going to give you a leg up over the competition. So what is drop servicing? Well, similar to drop shipping, you're acting as a middleman. With drop shipping, you are acting as a middleman between the manufacturer who makes the products and the customer. You are literally just the middleman. You don't touch the products, you just get the order, send it to the manufacturer or to the source, and they will ship the products directly to the consumer. Drop servicing is similar to this, although there's no product. It's usually digital or a service. So with drop servicing, a good example is that you find a client, you find a business, a local business that needs maybe logo or website creation. They are willing to pay you £200 or $200 for logo and website creation. You say, okay, no problem, I'll get that to you in 2 weeks. You go on Fiverr or Upwork, you find someone who's willing to create a website or a logo or both. You can get a package deal for £100 or $100, and then you give that to your client, and then you keep that £100 profit. Now, it's worth mentioning that drop servicing, one of the main advantages over drop shipping is that you don't deal with actual products. So you don't deal with refunds, you don't deal with damaged products or anything like that. If you do it right, it'll be worth the effort, 100%, but you've got to be able to do it right. Now, the amount of niches are numerous, and the amount of services you could provide in those niches, again, are varied. There are plenty of people, plenty of high-skilled, proficient workers who make a living by freelancing, Upwork, Fiverr, things like that, and they will ensure that your clients, your customers, or your future clients will get a high-quality and timely service. So what's the plan? How to get started? So number one is you build a website to offer your services. Number two is you invest in promoting or advertising your services to get your first few clients. Now, all you need is one client to get started. And to be honest with you, you don't even need a website, but I'll cover that in a second. Number three is you find a freelancer or another company perhaps to implement that service, and you agree on a price. You check the service once it's ready, and then you send that off to the client. You have to quality check it, especially if you're dealing with freelancers who are maybe less popular and less reputable. You need to check that quality of service. Now, if you follow that plan, you'll be able to drop service no matter what your background, no matter what niche you pick. Now, if you are going to pick a website to do this from, I would definitely recommend Shopify. I talk about Shopify dropshipping all the time. Obviously, you wouldn't be using it for dropshipping, you'd be using it for drop servicing, but the website works pretty well with that as well. Now, before, when I mentioned you don't need a website, you can test the waters by doing it at a local scale. Now you can drop service at a local scale by phoning up local companies in your area and just ask them questions. What is it they're struggling in? What is it they require? And then go from there. You can adapt your service to their needs. You don't have to phone them up and be like, I design logos. Do you want a logo? Find out what they want first and match it to their needs, because there's so many freelancers out there that you can then adapt to that after. When you phone up these companies, just ask them about their branding, ask them about their website, ask them about their values, their mission, any plans for logo development or website development, content creation, social media platforms. Just talk to them, have a conversation. Once you know their needs, you might be able to agree on a price on a service. Now, you being smart and savvy business owner will go on Upwork, Fiverr, or any freelancing website, and you'll be able to find services for cheaper, do a good quality check, and then send them to your client. Now, this is why I said it's important to have some sort of basic knowledge of the service you're providing. For example, if someone's providing a website creation, and then your client comes back and wants to make a few tweaks, and the service provider you bought it from isn't able to do that, or is refusing to do that unless you pay more, at which point would lower your profit margin, it'd be good if you had those basic skills so you could either do it or at least learn how to do it. Now, it might be worth ordering like a mock order, say you've got an order here, and see how they perform and kind of do like a quality check, like a quality test, just so you have a rough idea. Yes, it might cost you a bit of money to begin with, it might be a little bit of a startup cost, but it'll be worth it in the long run, because if you find a service that is absolutely mind-blowing and you've tested out 2 or 3, then you can go straight providing that top-notch service. So to answer the initial question of dropshipping or drop servicing, it depends on your preference and your situation. So drop servicing is ideal if you have knowledge of the service you are providing and would prefer to avoid physical products. Now, there are pros of providing physical products and there are cons against providing physical products. For example, the refunds, things like that. The pros being that the markups can be higher depending if you go for a higher scale item. Entirely up to you. Drop shipping does require a more hands-on approach, and unlike drop servicing, you can add quality control measures via an agent or fulfillment center. Now, with drop servicing, you are the person that's delivering that to your client. With drop shipping, you are fulfilling the order, and then your agent or your AliExpress or your manufacturer is basically doing the actual physical order fulfillment and sending that to the customer. You don't touch any of it. Now, what an agent is basically a middleman between the manufacturer and yourself, who will source products for cheaper and will generally ship them faster and will add a quality control measure. They will also take photos of you. No, they won't. They won't take photos of you. They'll take photos for you of your product. That's what I meant. They'll also include any promotional material for your business to your customers. An agent will also set you up with branding if needed, and a fulfillment center will store your items and ship them directly out to your customers, so you're not ordering one by one. Now, the advantage of this is quicker shipping times. You obviously don't have that issue with drop servicing because there are no shipping times. You basically, once you order that product and that gets processed, you can then send that off to your client. I'd also bear in mind the process times for creating the product, because if you're telling your client, I'll have it done in 2 weeks, and then your service provider says, well, it's going to take me 10 days, that gives you a very narrow window of any improvements, and you don't want to be put against the wire. You don't want to be put against the wall. You basically want to give yourself some time. So if you're telling your client 14, 15 days, 2 to 3 weeks, make sure your service provider knows this and maybe give them a deadline of a week or 10 days. I know I've mentioned them a couple of times, but the freelancing websites that you could refer back to are Upwork, Fiverr, freelancer.com, People Per Hour, and Hubstaff Talent are all websites that you can use to find the service provider. So I'm going to give you a few drop servicing ideas that might give you some inspiration and give you some ideas to get started. The first one is social media management. The truth is, not many people know how to create content for their social media, nor do they know how to manage for their social media platforms. Freelancing social media managers are very experienced and proficient. They can do things to an efficient and consistent standard. They will be happy to improve your client's social media presence, maybe with consistent posting, maybe with consistent brand image, and they will just be able to improve the overall feel of that social media And yeah, it's just something to consider. Moving on to the next one. So the next one is website development. Also website creation can come under there as well. If there's one thing that's in constant demand in this era, in this decade, it's going to be a fast and reliable website. It's going to be a website where you can go into it and within 2 or 3 clicks be into checkout. The less clicks means the less barriers, and people can go in, get what they want and out without anything stopping them or preventing them to complete their purchase. If you're able to optimize someone's website, maybe you've got knowledge in this already and you can give ideas in the forefront and then agree on a price, agree on a service, and then go and get that from someone else. Again, another way to do drop services. Businesses are always on the lookout for people to optimize their websites. Most websites are where sales happen. So if you can optimize a website, that generally means increase in sales and it's better for the business. So it's an investment that they're more than willing to be open to. The next one is graphic design. So when I say graphic design, I mean things like logo design, advertisement design, customized graphics, visual brand identities, and things along those lines. Now, these are things you can actually do yourself with a platform or website such as Canva. I'll put a link below, but I rave about Canva so much. It's what I use for all my stuff. It's what I use for my YouTube thumbnails as well. So I'll let you be the judge of that. If you clicked on this video, they clearly worked. So check out Canva. You can see there's loads of templates. You can go into these, change the colors, change the image, and make it more suitable for your brand or your client's brand. And you can create these yourself without having to pay someone else. Like, you can obviously pay a freelancer to do it, but if you can do it yourself, then you're minimizing the cost and more profit in your pocket. The next one is video creation, similar to graphic design. If you can do this yourself, like, all you need is a phone and a microphone and you're ready to go. But obviously freelancers are more equipped for this kind of situation. But things like advertisements, short videos, animations, things like that. Maybe your business wants to create a YouTube channel and go along those lines just with stock footage and a voiceover, maybe a tutorial video. Just have an open mind when you have these conversations and see if it's something they're open to, and then go from there. The next one is writing. Now, when I say writing, I don't mean letters, notebooks. That is so old-fashioned. I mean blog writing. I mean writing in different languages. I mean blog articles, social media posts, press releases, advertisements, books, maybe even an ebook, for example. Think high tech. There are so many options for this, and it's entirely up to you which route you want to go down. You might want to be a ghostwriter. When I say be a ghostwriter, I mean provide ghostwriting services where you basically write for your client, but it's not you actually writing. It's under the client's name, but then it's also not you that's not actually writing. It's the freelancer that's not actually writing. That makes no sense, but you know what I mean, kind of, maybe, I don't know. But basically having to write content, provide writing services for blog posts, articles and things like that, with the hook that it will increase SEO. Now, I'll do a video here on how blog posts increase search engine optimization, and it's a good way to drive traffic to your store without paying for ads. So that's a good route to go down, something to consider. The next one is search engine optimization. Now, I've already mentioned this a handful of times, but search engine optimization is vital for businesses if they want to grow organically and don't want to sink so much money into ads, because search engine optimization can drive free traffic, and everybody loves free traffic, because free traffic means less costs, not necessarily more sales, but less costs, which means more profits. Yes, drop servicing is perfectly legal, so there's no legal considerations or risks. The FBI won't be bursting down your door. FBI, open up! One thing you need to watch out for is customer satisfaction. If the clients are not happy with the service they get, you will be more open to negative reviews, which will obviously affect your reputation, and that's all you're going to have to rely on to make sales. And because word of mouth travels fast, and obviously online reviews as well if you're not doing it locally. Make sure you check your service provider's reviews. Make sure you have an alternative. Make sure you have a chat with them first. If you're doing writing, for example, providing writing services, make sure they are proficient in the language that you are providing that service. If you're saying, I'm going to write your blog posts in Spanish, make sure that the freelancer or service provider you're working with is proficient in that language and they're not just using Google Translate, because that is not going to work. The other concern with drop servicing and drop shipping, actually, although people are more accepting of drop shipping because it's more widely known, is the morality concern. Now, a lot of drop servicing companies don't disclose the fact that they are outsourcing the job to a third party. Some clients won't mind the work being outsourced, whereas others will, and they'll insist that you do this personally yourself, or they'll find someone else. So just something to bear in mind. I would personally disclose that you have a team of freelancers, or you have an externally hired team that you use to create the services, and then you're kind of like the front salesman and the face of the business sort of thing. Again, entirely up to you how you do it. Don't do anything unethical or immoral, because karma. So just bear that in mind. Just something to consider. But on that note, that's all from me. If you learned something new, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, go watch my other videos because I have loads of them. I also post every week without fail because I drop a lot of value and it's worth watching. What you got to lose? Just go watch it. I'll leave it right here, just right here. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.